Following the Golden Rule with Andrew Faas is proudly supported by Remax St. Andrews. Live and vacation by the sea. Choose wisely. Choose Remax.
Hello, my name is Andrew Faas, and welcome to Following the Golden Rule.
And I'm Jay Remer, and for 26 weeks, Andy and I will be discussing the ABCs of leadership. This week, we will be discussing U is for Unifier, and what an appropriate topic to be discussing. There is an upcoming article that is going to be published today that you wrote, Andy, an open letter to corporate America, where you outline a lot of the situations that are occurring today, and you predicted this a number of years ago, and you refer to articles that you've written, and I'm just wondering if you'd like to comment on that.
Sure. Yes, I did predict it a number of years ago. And certainly the situation, what was not predictable was the COVID. But in terms of how people are reacting and how Trump has done what he's done in terms of trying to stay in power, is something I didn't predict specifically, but I did predict the outbreak of civil war.
Yes.
And in my book, From Bully to Bullseye, Move Your Organization Out of the Line of Fire, I wrote that book specifically to business leaders. In terms of what they needed to do to avoid cultural time bombs from exploding in their workplace. And those time bombs have been exploding because they did not, after the financial meltdown, restructure the economy and their businesses to benefit anyone other than themselves. And that is what got us into the situation we're in today. And there is no question that people are angry and anxious and now violent and polarized. And everyone is putting most, if not all, of the blame on Trump and what went on the 6th. Yes, that he should be held accountable for that.
Yes.
But very few people are talking about why are people so anxious? Why are they so polarized?
You know, as with most times when people are in these situations, there's a fear involved. And you know, this is not a new dynamic, and it's one that has been visited, you know, after World War I and World War II, and I think that there is just this innate fear, and when people start sort of tribaling up, they become they can't escape it. Unless there's a big change. So I'm wondering what kind of a change will it take to get people to shift away from this really culture of fear?
Well, I think it's more, there's no question it's a culture of fear now, because they have been being bullied at work for many, many years in command and control environments. And we're seeing people, particularly Republicans, who are doing things that nobody thought they would ever be complicit enough to do. And they are doing it out of fear of retaliation. But what is it they have to do is the same thing that that I advised them to do some 12 years ago in my book, and then more recently after the Business Roundtable issued their statement of purpose, which was in reaction to Ray Dalio and Jamie Dimon, J.P. Morgan's CEO, that unless capitalism is reformed, there will be a civil war. And that was issued to corporate America almost 2 years ago. I wrote about it in The Hill in a piece called "Capitalism Can Work." The wealth gap is real, but capitalism can work for all. I had a bit of hope then, but I've lost all hope. Because of number one, 2 years after, before COVID, the 181 leaders who signed that statement of purpose got a report card, and it said basically the statement of purpose was empty rhetoric. And I assert, and in my article, I assert that had corporate America better responded to the financial meltdown of over a decade ago, and then had they at least gone beyond the rhetoric in the statement of purpose 2 years ago, we would not be in the situation we are today. So when blame goes around, it is and should be directed at them, because they were in the best position to influence this. And they did not. And further, the way most of the organizations and their leaders handled COVID is further evidence that they do not care about anything other than their shareholders, and the return on their shareholders, who have been rewarded handsomely throughout coronavirus. And many of these companies are laying off people and at the same time paying their shareholders dividends. And are people angry and anxious? It's one of the main reasons for that anger. So you asked me about what is it that they should be doing. It's what they should have been doing a few years ago, a number of years ago. Now, unless there's a coup, another coup attempt, Joe Biden will become president, and that ushers in a new era. And Joe Biden has 2 years in which to tackle something as, if not even more significant than what Roosevelt had to do after the Depression. And Roosevelt's New Deal captured the imagination of industry and individuals. And it was because there was a common purpose.
Yes.
And this is something that Joe Biden and his administration have to really look at doing in a relatively short order, is getting businesses and industry and individuals working towards that new purpose. And from my perspective, that new purpose is what I outlined in our first session. And it's really re-ratifying and doing something about the covenant of economic, social, and cultural rights. And they went into effect in 1976.
Yes.
So the covenant espouses the right to work in just and favorable conditions, the right to social protections, an adequate standard of living, the highest standards of health, and the rights to education and cultural benefits. And Americans, including Canadians, have been denied these rights.
Unless they are in the top 1/10 of 1 percentile. Those people have access to all of those rights.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think what you're really saying is that people don't feel heard, they don't feel included, they feel abused and neglected and dismissed, and all kinds of very stress-producing emotions, which are basically at the bottom of all of this. And unless corporate America is willing to shift, as you say, from a stakeholder-only position to a stakeholder to a stakeholder position, where everyone is included in the decision making and the operation of the organization, things are not going to change.
And more importantly, the rewards of this. Where since the last, since the financial meltdown, all of the rewards have gone to that 10%. And the rest of the population has regressed.
Yes.
And certainly it's being felt more because of COVID. But the facts are the facts.
Yes.
To really look at this, I think we have to learn from what other countries have done. Countries who are living up to the covenant. So I did a study, and that study was to look at the top 20 countries. What I did is I did a review of what the United Nations published last year. Was a list of 20 of the world's happiest countries. So it starts with Finland is at the top, a Scandinavian country, and the United States is number 18. So people in all of those countries are listed on a scale in terms of happiness. And I started to question, well, why are people happy? And I would assert that those countries that follow the covenant are the happiest. So I looked at a little closer and said, you need to have the right balance in terms of performance, economic performance, and social programs.
Right.
And so I looked at it on the basis of, okay, which countries rank high on performance and then high on some 21 other indicators.
Mm-hmm.
And Norway jumps out.
Okay.
Because when I look at 21 indicators coming from World Bank, World Economic Forum, UN, the OECD, and other organizations, Norway comes out on top.
Mm-hmm.
And America comes out close to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people would label Norway as being a socialist country.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the things that the Republicans have successfully, or the far right have successfully poisoned the American population against socialism.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand what socialism is.
Right.
And they equate socialism to be equal to communism. And of any politician, Bernie Sanders has championed not so much socialism, but he's championed getting America to follow the International Covenant of Human Rights.
Yeah.
One statistic I did refer to in the article is America in literacy ranks way down there,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where their Department of Education has determined that 54% of adults between the ages of 17 and on cannot read beyond what a beyond the grade 6 level.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty scary.
Very scary.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask, why are people reacting
Mm-hmm.
to what's going on, and why is the polarization where it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's because they are illiterate, and I
Yeah.
don't mean that in a demeaning way,
No.
because they did not enjoy the benefits of education and culture. And the minority groups are disproportionately in that group.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want my article or what I do to be an argument for or against socialism. The argument should be against, what do we want?
Yeah.
And so let's just look at Norway compared to the US on the number of statistics. So Norway ranks number 4 on the wealth gap index, and America ranks number 18 out of the same 20 countries. Norway ranks number 9 in unemployment, and America ranks number 19.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the unemployment number should include those people who have given up and do not participate. So when you combine that number, Norway ranks 22% unemployment plus those people who do not participate, and America ranks 29, close to 30.
Mm-hmm.
Norway ranks number 2 in the gender gap index. Norway ranks number 1 in the quality of rights index, and America ranks 15.
Mm-hmm.
Norway ranks number 5 in the quality of life, In Stability Index, America ranks number 15. Norway ranks number 1 in the Human Development Index. America ranks number 16. Norway ranks number 2 in the Social Mobility Index, and America ranks number 18. Norway ranks number 1 in the Social Progress Index. America ranks number 17. Norway ranks number 3 in Human Rights Protections, and America ranks number 19. Norway ranks number 2 in the Rule of Law Index, and America ranks number 14. Norway ranks 9 in the percent spent on education, and America ranks number 20. Maybe the reason that the illiteracy number is where it is.
Yeah.
Norway ranks number 5 on the best countries for green living. America ranks number 17. Norway ranks number 7 as the most reputable country, and America ranks number 17. Norway ranks number 2 in infant mortality. America ranks number 19. Norway ranks number 7 in life expectancy, and America ranks number 18. Norway ranks number 2 at 0.57 murders per 100,000 people, and America ranks number 19 at 5.35.
So that's 10 times.
10 times. Norway ranks number 3 in incarceration, and America ranks number 18. And that number is staggering. Number 3 at 60 people per 100,000 people. America has 655.
Again, 10 times, more than 10 times.
Norway ranks number 5 in the Employment Law Index. America ranks 16. Norway ranks number 3 in the Social Security Law Index. America ranks number 16. Norway ranks number 4 in guaranteed vacations and holidays at 35 days. America ranks number 20 at 0 days. So those are facts.
Yes.
And if those facts were presented to people to say, here's what you can enjoy, and it doesn't put productivity at risk, because Norway's productivity is higher than America's.
Yes. Interesting.
And Americans do not enjoy the basics when it comes to those human rights. And my message to corporate America is you have a very short window of opportunity to put your money where your mouth is relative to signing that statement of purpose. Further, you can and you must start talking to your people and defusing the tension that is out there. And there's talk of riots and disruption to the election in every state capital and other cities around America. And people are confused.
Yeah.
And they are angry. And quite frankly, they've got a lot to be angry about.
Yes.
But you can diffuse not by just the same old rhetoric in terms of we care. Start saying, America is not great. if you look at those indicators.
That's right.
And you want America to be great. And we want to help America be great by giving you the rights that have been denied to you for these many years.
Mm-hmm.
And if your people don't respond to you, it's because they don't respect you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe by starting to really convince them that you are prepared to put money where your mouth is,
Mm-hmm.
and not go beyond the rhetoric and the superficial things that have been done, but actually partner with the Biden administration and use the Covenant of Rights as a common purpose.
That would serve to unify things quite a lot.
Yes.
And so we've come to the end of our show, and that was perfect timing, Andy, because you summed it up perfectly. And if they don't understand that, then they should listen to it again. Thank you, Andy, for discussing your thoughts on unifying. And we look forward to seeing you next week when we will be discussing V is for Vigilant.
Following the Golden Rule with Andrew Faas is proudly supported by Remax St. Andrews. Live and vacation by the sea. Choose wisely. Choose Remax.